Welcome to our webinar on project-based learning using STEMsims. STEMsims is a suite of over 100 research and standards-based simulations of engineering projects and laboratory experiments created to deeply explore grades 4 through 12 STEM topics. Remember, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and that one of our country's major educational goals is to increase the quantity and quality of STEM students in our nation. So exactly what is project-based learning? In project-based learning, students investigate scientific content and engineering design practices in the context of challenges proposed to ask questions of nature and to solve real-world problems. Students mirror the practices of scientists and engineers as they progress through their challenges. During this process, students observe, question, research, propose, model, design, build, test, modify, and evaluate their and others' ideas and products. They use the latest technological tools and techniques to complete their investigations. In project-based learning, teachers support and guide their students through the information-seeking process by helping their students find solutions to the student-generated questions and problems in areas where the students lack conceptual understanding. At the conclusion of their projects, students use their communication skills to share their designs and results, while other students use their skills of argumentation to evaluate the students' work. Is project-based learning really that different from traditional instructional practices? Absolutely. In most traditional instructional models, the teacher conveys the content to the student in the form of lectures, worksheets, homework, and prescribed laboratories. Excellent teachers may effectively engage their students in the teacher's defined content, interest, and curriculum. However, while the students might be engaged in the teacher's world, the students might not be empowered to pursue knowledge and skills that support their passions, their interests, and most importantly, their future. Inspiring students to learn on their own should be a highly desired end product of all educational experiences, and the research is very clear. Engaged and empowered students are more likely to succeed in whatever their future holds. But you might ask the questions, what about what I'm required to teach according to my curriculum guide? And what about preparing my students for the content on the high-stakes proficiency tests, especially when their performance results may directly impact my faculty evaluation? Project-based learning does not need to be an all-or-nothing proposition. Adding a project or two a year so that your students have an opportunity to investigate their passions and interests goes a long way to empowering your students, while at the same time offering you adequate time for exposing your students to the required content. Another way to guide student empowerment involves the way that students typically conduct their scientific investigations. Bell and other researchers provided a way to classify the various types of investigations. Due to time constraints, many teachers rely on Level 1 investigations where students are told what to investigate, how to conduct their investigation, and what they should find. These cookbook-type laboratories confirm what the teachers have previously presented, but do little to empower students. Most project-based learning experiences occur at levels 3 and 4, where students are empowered to meet some teacher-presented challenge or create their challenge from scratch. You might ask, is it really worth it to take some of your valuable teaching time and use project-based learning? What are some of the benefits associated with project-based learning? Well, there are more than you probably can imagine. Increased student engagement, student empowerment, scientific reasoning skills, understanding of scientific principles, gains in both qualitative and quantitative conceptual understanding of core STEM topics, increased exposure to investigative nature of science explorations, improved process skills, increased ability to solve real-world problems, improved collaborative skills, communication skills, and skills of critiquing others' argumentation and conjecturing, and more importantly than any, increased teacher satisfaction. Hopefully, this long list of benefits has encouraged you to give project-based learning a deeper look. So what are some guidelines for getting started? First, the best tip is to start small. Only plan on your students completing one project over the course of a semester or 9-week grading period. Next, select your project carefully so that the project overlaps with the science content you plan on teaching during that semester. That way, your students have real-world applications of the science content you're required to teach. Since scientists and engineers rarely work in isolated environments, encourage your students to work on teams to complete their challenge. The end result of the students' projects should always require a formal class presentation of their results, experiences, and product. Sharing information in the form of a presentation is an important life skill. At key points during the project, have your students informally present their ideas to other class members not on their team. Presenting plans, models, and prototypes to others should encourage effective argumentation between your students that results in better designs and products. Many times, educators make the mistake of focusing only on the final product that results from a project. Instead, remember that the process the students experienced during their project was a tremendous learning experience. Make sure to evaluate their planning, modeling, designing, arguing, and communication skills. All of these are just as important as if their product worked or not. Here are a few ideas for projects. Give your students the task of designing a bridge that spans a river of 50 meters, with a river bottom made of sand, made with the strongest materials, and creates the smallest environmental impact. Here are some suggested simulations for the bridge project. Bridge metal, where students test bridge building materials' strength. Concrete structures, where they make the strongest concrete possible. Negative cement, a simulation in which they discover low carbon dioxide producing cement manufacturing process. Scouring, where students must protect a bridge from erosion. Or how about giving your students the task of designing a car that is fuel efficient, causes the smallest environmental impact, and delivers packages efficiently? Some suggested simulations for the car design project include acceleration, which is investigating carbon dioxide emissions and vehicle acceleration. The wind tunnel, where students find the most aerodynamic shapes. Push-a-cart, a simulation that gives students experience with Newton's second law. And fleet manager. Students investigate the pros and cons of operating a fleet of vehicles using traditional and alternative energy sources. And here's another project idea. Have your students design and place a cell phone tower that reduces drop calls, can withstand inclement weather, and operates without an external power source. Some suggested simulations for the cell phone tower project include fuel stations, where students use mathematical skills to place cell phone towers, and a host of simulations that investigate the best power source to supply power to the cell phone tower. These include solar cells, beta voltaics, fuel cells, supercells, and charge. Or how about asking your students to create an investment plan based on a selected new technology by using these simulations? Bot Miner, where students mine valuable minerals on asteroids and other astronomical objects. Desalination, where they convert salt water into fresh drinking water. Energy Downer, where they create elevators that generate electricity instead of only consume electricity. Face recognition, where students develop a system that allows access via face recognition. Ship tracking, where students identify ships in inclement weather without direct observations. And Dronopter, where students deliver packages using quadcopters. Hypothetically, give each student $10,000 to invest. Then, assign your students the task of writing a 3-page paper on which developing technology will produce the largest gains on their investment. Make sure your students not only say which technology they'll invest in, but also why they choose this new technology. These are just a few of the ideas to get you and your students started with project-based learning. I'm sure that you and your students can think of many, many more great project ideas. I hope that this presentation helps you better understand project-based learning and how to bring STEM into your classroom. Please check out our STEM Sims website and feel free to email me if you have questions or comments about this webinar. Thank you so much for your time and attention.